Welcome back, everybody, to the Derby City Fandom podcast. Today, we managed to snag him again. Zach, welcome back.
Glad to be here.
Long time no see, bro.
Yeah,
Long time no see.
Forever. We're definitely not recording these back to back.
Lies and slander. Anyways,
There's no man behind the curtain.
there is no man behind the curtain. Do not peer behind the green screen.
There is no Warren Bossing say. What else can we lay on here?
I don't know.
I think we're good.
Those are the two. Anyways, so today we are going to talk about a film that's been out for a while, but more popular films that come out that garnered our attention, so we wanted to cover those first. So yeah, go see Godzilla -1. But today we are here to talk about the Marvels. Gentlemen, I have mixed thoughts about this film. Most of my mixed thoughts are entirely because I did not watch, I guess, the required watching prior to this film.
Oh, okay. It wasn't, but okay.
Yeah, okay.
So, that being said, what I have seen from this film and from what I've looked up, like your required watching was WandaVerse. You needed to watch at least some of Secret Invasion.
No, you didn't.
I don't think you needed to, but
No.
I feel like they may have brought some stuff up there.
Nope, they didn't.
I think you're better off not watching.
You're absolutely better off not watching
Probably.
Secret Invasion.
But, you know,
100% better off.
too late for that. Unfortunately, we are tainted. And then I did not watch Miss Marvels. I did not watch, I guess, Kamala Khan's,
Yes.
introduction series,
Yeah,
miniseries.
I would agree with that. I think you'd probably be better off in the audience if you watched the Kamala Khan.
Yeah. I think that one and WandaVision they're required watching, I guess. I also think that they're probably two of the best Marvel TV shows. So I think they're definitely worth watching. But,
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. Colin, we start with you, as we usually do. Where did this film rate?
What do the people say, Colin?
What do the people say?
I am one of the people.
What do the taxpayers say, Colin?
The taxpayers are
Upset? Raving?
They always are.
they're not disappointed, but they're definitely disappointed. So Rotten's gotten a 62%,
Oof.
Okay.
and IMDb is 6 out of 10.
Yeah.
And I think that is fair. Now,
I think it's
I
low.
personally think that, yes, I agree with Jake there. It does seem a little low. Like, the film wasn't bad. We'll probably get into it a little bit later, or we can get into it now. I don't really care.
I wanna get into it now.
I think that this is definitely a product of just Marvel burnout.
That's probably about 50% of why it's rated so low, I think.
Yes.
I think that the movie definitely has problems. I think there's other compounding factors to it, but yeah, Marvel burnout is huge.
For me, see how I leaned in there a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Braced myself on the other side here.
We're bracing.
So for me, it's not really a Marvel burnout. It's more of a consistency and storyline, and basically, let me backtrack a little bit. So we knew, going back to like phase 1, phase 2, 3, and 4, and so on, we kind of got an idea of where this whole plot was going, and eventually it led to Endgame with individual movies, and then the combine of Ultron and all that. We understood Thanos was pretty much the Endgame, right? Now we're in these new phases. We don't know where this is going.
But that's the unfortunate thing, is that we technically do, because it's Kang.
No, we don't.
Yeah, because of the whole Jonathan Majors situation.
We don't know, because
We
he's
don't
basically
know.
he doesn't like. I mean, yeah, he played his role in the Loki series and whatnot, and that was great and all. But ever since his stupid bullshit that's pretty much happened in real life.
My point is, who cares? Just recast them.
Yeah.
That's my 2 cents.
I think the only reason they're taking pause on that is because of the Ant-Man post-credits, where there's a billion Kangs and they all look like him. And it's like, why'd you have to make that scene though?
Yeah.
You know,
Well, all of that was like, you know, shot and filmed well before any of his allegations came to light.
right.
So,
but
But where,
Do you
but
just
where
not
I was
include it
going
at
with
that point?
this, but where
But
I
go
was
ahead.
going with this was if you know, if you look at, you know, Wanda version or Doctor Strange's, you know, multiverse of madness and all that shit, you're getting into like time travel and multiverses, and then you bring in the Fantastic Four characters, and then you bring in with this film, you know, the post-credit scene with X-Men with Hank, what's his face? McCoy,
Yeah,
right?
the
So
Beast.
it's just like, okay, I'm an X-Men fan. I love the X-Men for sure, more so than the Fantastic Four, but I also love the Fantastic Four. Reed Richards, obviously the smartest man alive, but when you think about it, the smartest man alive literally
Dr.
just
Doom.
took it up the ass from Wanda. He's the smartest man alive, and he just let her turn him into freaking spaghetti, essentially.
Yes.
And so that to me was just like a slap in the face. It was a joke. And so that kind of what turns me off about this whole new phase or phases that
well,
we're
that's
in
part
right
of the
now.
multiversal problem, right? Is
Right.
that
It's,
you
I
can
want to
ass-
know where we're going, essentially, but I have no idea. And I'm sure I'm not alone in this.
Yeah, I imagine you've seen and read the fan theories that that particular Reed Richards has never had to dealt with a Scarlet Witch that powerful, so that's why he got spaghettied.
No, I haven't, but now that
cares,
honestly
though?
pisses
Like-
me off even more hearing that. It's just
right.
like,
I mean, like, smartest man alive can still be wrong and can still make underestimations and think that he's dealing with a reasonable person who's instead gone off the rails, been corrupted by Darkhold, whatever. Like, but I agree. You have no idea where you're going, and they're not telling small character stories. The Miss Marvel, I think, is actually a great small character story dealing with all of her stuff and her origin. But then you have this like team up with a character who is a sidekick in WandaVision, right?
Yep.
A character who's had one of her own movies and then has been sidelined because she's not an original Avenger for all of the other Endgame Infinity
Not the
Wars.
original Avenger, but then is
no,
arguably
I
the
mean-
most powerful one.
I don't mean like
you know,
anything like that, but like
details.
she's been sidelined because she doesn't get the screen time because she's not one of the original 2012 Avengers.
Right, because she showed up to deal with Thanos and then left to go deal with
Everything
her
else.
plot line off-world again.
Right.
Like she shows
she's
up
been,
and then she leaves. So, like that's her shtick.
Right. She's been off in space, so you haven't had time to get attached to this character. The only character I went into the movie hoping showed up well was Kamala Khan because I liked her from Miss Marvel. So it's like you've got this team up of characters that like your expectations are all over the place.
Yeah, which after I had heard that Kamala Khan was not the same as her like comic book, I was kind of on the fence of watching Miss Marvel when that first came out 2 years ago.
I think
3
so.
years ago.
Yeah.
Whichever. Because I'm used to Kamala Khan being like this weird mix-up of Ant-Man and Mr. Fantastic, like, you know, the ability
Right.
to enlarge and stretch and shrink. But then her being like, you know, this peppy teenager, like she was like the teenager, like equivalent to Spider-Man.
Right.
Yeah.
Like that was like kind of her original like inclusion into, I guess, like the Avengers to Marvel, is that she was like the other snappy teenager in the group.
she added that for the film. She added that youthful like positiveness to the film. I think, whereas opposed to, you know, Rambo and Brie Larson's character.
Oh yeah, that doesn't get confusing at all
Brie,
either.
She seemed like grumpy to me in the film, whereas Rambo was more of the positive,
Pragmatic.
pragmatic. That's the word I would prefer to use. But you know, Kamala Khan, she ended up being, you know, positive. Yeah, we're in a shit place right now, but hey, haha, I can't believe I'm meeting the Captain Marvel.
Well,
right
because that's the part where I kind of wish I had watched Miss Marvel first, because we find out that Kamala Khan is a huge fangirl.
Oh yeah. Yeah. That's the whole
So
thing
that's-
is like She first accidentally gets her powers when she goes to a cosplay convention with her take on I forget if she's Indian or
On Ms.
Pakistani.
Marvel.
She's Indian.
Indian, yes.
Okay. But yes, so it's her take on the Indian version of Captain Marvel in a cosplay contest. That's where she discovers her powers.
Yeah,
So-
like her mother, or grandmother, something
Yep,
or another,
it's a bangle.
just casually gives her a bangle that's been like handed down through the family. She's like, "Hey,
Right.
this will look good on you." It turns
Exactly.
out to be like one of the most like devastating scientific devices.
Meanwhile, the other one's in fucking
Universe.
space.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
Okay, whatever.
whatever.
Yeah.
Like I feel like there's like some weird like Eternals tie-in there, like. Because
God.
like, why does this random family
No,
have
look,
like,
look,
close to like?
Yeah, there's enough problems with this movie. Let's not lay Eternals baggage onto it, okay?
Sure.
Well, this is a Marvel particular podcast, so we can bring Marvels. We can bring the whole thing
We
into
need
it.
to ban
we will get
Eternals
so
from-
lost.
That rabbit hole is too deep.
I'm sorry, if
Yeah.
you bring a giant freaking statue out of the
Exactly.
ocean, that
And
is
then you
not
never
only gonna-
reference it again?
It's a different multiverse.
Look, I knew as soon as that damn thing showed
all
up,
they
they're
have to
never,
say.
ever going to reference it again.
Yeah.
Like, that was the most pointless bullshit.
It's
Anyways.
it's a different multiverse. It's not the sacred timeline. Just whatever. Fuck it.
Is it, though? How do you know?
I don't know. Loki. Loki 2. Go watch that instead.
Yes, please. Because that show's actually good.
Oh Lord. So
I
what?
think that, like,
Go ahead.
as much as I loved Kamala in this movie, I think she is like a perfect. She was in her own show. Now she's in this movie. Perfect. Same character. Evolved a little bit. No notes. I think the problem was they went with her tone too much. I think that they couldn't be dramatic with anybody else because you have super peppy, and then they want the others to like have this infectious super peppiness come into them, and it's like
it's
you
only
have
Captain Marvel's thing. Rambo doesn't really have that, if I remember.
I don't know, but like they're the whole movie tries to have this like my mom called it after school special, like where it's like super peppy, very cartoony, over the top, and it's like you have that with the Singing Planet, you have that with their team up and like their montage and everything, and it's like it's appropriate at certain points, but then you've also got like the emotional baggage of Captain Marvel having been off planet and feeling like this destroyer, and everyone's calling her the destroyer, and she's like
The Annihilator.
the Annihilator. Sorry, thank you.
Same difference.
So she's
No.
the Annihilator, and she doesn't want to be, and she now has someone who's looking up to her unconditionally. At the same time, she's trying to deal with there's an entire race of people that hate me, and she can't reconcile that.
Yeah.
They kind of just snap their fingers and say, "Okay, she's fixed now," and move forward and be all, "Hey, we're all teammates. We're all great."
Sure, but you also have to deal with, said race also, kidnapped her and kind of casually brainwashed her into working for them.
Don't get me wrong. They were in the wrong.
Sure.
They're the bad guys. There's nothing wrong with that. But she almost killed a planet. She caused, because they're so freaking incompetent, that damn race of people.
Yeah, the creator
They-
is so incredibly incompetent once
they-
you remove the supreme intelligence. It's almost baffling.
Right. They just almost destroy their planet and blame her because she blew up their AI that told them, "Hey, don't overmine and tear up your sun." Like,
It's like, oh, hey, maybe don't evaporate your ocean or, burn your atmosphere.
Right. Don't do those things because I'm supremely intelligent. But so she blows up the supreme intelligence. They all blame her for all of their problems. Yes, that's wrong. But it's also scarred her, or it's supposed to have. And at the
I
same
think that's
time,
the implication, yeah.
right. And that's why she hasn't come back. She keeps trying to fix things or find a way to fix things out in the galaxy. And at the same time, she's also got her goddaughter in Rambo, who she basically abandoned because
Yeah.
she couldn't deal with.
She can't deal with
She couldn't go have.
everything.
She couldn't go have a normal life on
Yeah.
Earth after she had pseudo annihilated a planet.
Sure. I actually don't remember. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong in the comments down below.
You're wrong.
Did Captain Marvel get snapped?
No,
No.
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 no,
Okay.
she did not.
Because I wasn't sure if she was one of the people that got brought back through time with Strange.
Rambo was. Rambo got snapped. Yeah.
Okay, Rambo got snapped.
Rambo got snapped.
I think that's one of the issues I had. Where you just hit the nail on the head, Kenny. Was I needed to care more between Carol Danvers and Rambo, like the
There's
relationship.
almost too many people to care about.
Yes.
And I was like, I just did not care enough
Right.
about that like duo. Because I thought the movie had a really good plot of what's her name, Dan Burr, Dan
Carol
Burr?
Danvers?
Yeah, Carol
No,
Danvers.
the antagonist.
Oh.
whatever the antagonist's name is.
I got
I
it.
literally-
Darben.
So I think the movie had a good plot of like, you know, Cara Danvers is a good person, but she's making some mistakes. Like she's getting too much intervention, and like people are getting hurt, and planets are getting destroyed, and societies, et cetera, et cetera. But then they're trying to throw in these smaller plot pieces of, well, you abandoned me, I'm Rambo, and I'm your goddaughter. You abandoned me, and I'm like,
Right.
I just never like got that from. I know that they brought it up in a previous film or whatever. I'm like, I don't know. I don't really feel that at all.
Well, and like you don't feel it because the tone is off.
Yeah.
And then they snap their fingers and everything's fixed and they're a team and it's a complete tonal 180 from what they want you to feel.
Yep.
So you're just left with this weird, like, what is happening right now?
Yeah.
And it's like, because I agree. I think the plot was fine. I think their execution of the emotional beats is wrong.
Yeah.
I think the tone was just off.
But when I
off.
watched the film, my tone for the film as a whole was completely different. So I took the approach of it was more upbeat, fun. And I guess maybe I took the Kamala Khan tone a little too much, but that's probably why I enjoyed it a lot more than other people, because I thought I was like, oh, this was a fun movie to watch. Like I thought it was kind of funny and fun and thrilling and exciting, and like I don't know, there's a bunch of cats running around and.
Well, I mean, you were a fan of the Flurkins to begin with.
Yeah.
Go listen to
Goose is my boy.
Yeah, go listen to our Captain Marvel.
But even the start when there's the quantum entanglement and they're like switching roles and trying to figure it all out.
thought that was
I
great.
thought it was a fun kind of film.
That's a fun gimmick. I do enjoy that.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, so your light-based powers are fucking with reality.
Yeah.
How do you deal with it?
They have all these great pieces, and it's just like they put them together in the wrong order for me, or just like they don't quite all fit together like they should.
It's
It's missing something.
I would say it's kind of a double-edged sword. So like you have one end, if you just viewed it as a standalone film, it's really fun and fantastic and it's a good watch. But if you view it from like an MCU Marvel fan where you've seen previous stuff, you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like this makes no sense. It makes some stuff in the past, like Secret Invasion and other films, like makes them a lot worse. Like what the hell's going on?
Some of those were pretty bad to begin with.
Is it possible to make Secret Invasion worse?
Oh, I mean, I would argue that I would argue they just did.
Okay.
Well,
We've gone over that in spades. Like, okay, so what's her name? Is now a Super Squirrel and just fucks off.
Yep.
Well,
She's now the most powerful person in the galaxy, easily.
Don't worry about it though.
But don't worry about it. She just disappears.
it's just gonna be like that head from Eternals.
I'm coming in. I'm gonna
Break us up.
I'm gonna break.
Okay.
I'm gonna be the bad guy here. So for me, Darben essentially is just another forgettable villain to me. And
I forgot her name.
yeah, I think we all
So
do.
let me ask you this question
he
within
said-
your question here. Does she do a better job than Ronan the Accuser?
I
which
actually
is her
like Ronan.
brother?
I actually like Ronan better.
Well, are they related?
I'm pretty sure
Yeah,
they're
they're
related.
Yeah.
brother and sister. Yeah.
Brother and sister.
So I like Ronan
Never got that
better.
either. I don't
That's
know.
apparently why she's in charge, I guess. So I don't
That's
know.
why she's pissed, and that's why she has an accuser's hammer.
Yeah.
Right.
I just took it as
so
they
to
needed like
me,
an all-women film.
just like Ronan, I like Ronan better as a character,
He didn't even have that much screen time, which is funny.
which is fucked up. Actually, if you think about it, maybe she had more screen time. than
Darben had
Ronan,
more screen time.
which is fucked up because I hated them both, but I enjoy Ronan more as a character. And
Ronan does
just the Kree in general are basically established. Like, yeah, they had what, like 20-25% of the galaxy was the population for it, right?
Sure, something like that, yeah.
But we're literally led to believe, like, yeah, they didn't really do shit.
Well, going back to what Zach said, it's like without the Supreme Intelligence, they're basically incompetent.
Right, but then hang on. But that's what I'm saying. Like, okay, so you have the Kree, and then you have the Skrulls. I care more for the Skrulls than I do the Kree.
Skrulls
Maybe
are
maybe
infinitely
Secret
more
Invasion is
interesting.
the reason for that. But
I don't know. I got issues with the Skrulls.
but they also had right. That's what I'm saying. It's like I have issues with the Skrulls too. So I want like if you're gonna bring in this not new, but if you're gonna bring in this particular species, I guess, give me some more story. Give me some more information on like, okay, are they good? Like, okay, there's gonna be this one section of Skrulls that are bad, this one section of Skrulls that are good, but I'm getting a mixture of like, okay, actually the Korean Skrulls both suck.
Yeah.
But I care more for the Skrulls in the long run, I guess.
Well, and that's because of the original Captain Marvel. Like,
That's entirely her fault.
That is entirely her fault. But she
her
also
movie, it makes you care about the Skrulls.
Yes.
Like that's the whole point.
Yeah.
and they did a good job with that, but at the same time,
They completely undermined
they
it.
fucked it up. They fucked
Yes.
it up so hard.
Well, the big elephant in the room for me is you watch Secret Invasion and they're trying to find a planet for the Skrulls.
They don't.
You watch this movie and like you have a planet. Yeah. Like why don't you send them all there? Yeah. Like I don't understand. I don't. Whatever.
Well, actually, they don't. They got
So,
destroyed.
Well, it's destroyed now, but they had a planet.
But during Secret Invasion, that planet existed.
Yeah, they referenced it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
They
mentioned
do.
the colony.
That's true.
but then the Kree go and ruin everything because the Supreme Intelligence tells them, it's like, hey, maybe the Kree are bad. And they're like, no, all about it.
No,
I don't
the
know.
Supreme Intelligence is gone. It's just this one lady who's like, I'm gonna fix my planet by killing other inhabited ones to
Sure.
hurt Carol
And
Danvers.
you know why I'm in charge? I got the hammer because that was my brother's hammer, and I'm going to,
Sure.
bop somebody on the head with
Nobody
this hammer.
gives a fuck about the hammer unless it's fucking Mjolnir. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So
Do you have any-
I've had this highlighted for a while, and this might be as good a point as ever to bring it up. But, the CEO, Bob Iger, has gone and said that the reason this film did so poorly was because there was a lack of oversight from executives on site. While the follow-up comment to that was somebody saying, it's like, oh, hey, the audiences are now needing to be more selective because there's so much Marvel now that you kind of have to like pick and choose. But due to an overabundance, there's burnout from numerous back-to-back inferior products, culminating in Secret Invasion.
Mm-hmm.
That is a direct quote.
Yeah.
From.
okay.
So here's my big theory, right? So 30% of this film, 30% of the bad feelings about this film are from this film.
Sure. This film has earned all of the bad feelings that it has generated within itself.
Right. It's not a perfect movie. It's not a great movie even. It could be much better. It has the pieces there. 50% of it is people are so freaking tired of Marvel. Like there's too much. There's been more Marvel in phase 4 than in the entire first 3 phases combined.
Really?
Yes. Like runtime, the TV shows, more than all of the first 3 movies or first 3 phases of movies combined. And of course, we're not talking about like the Netflix stuff with Daredevil or the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. We're not talking about those. Just like the movies that are definitely there, definitely canon. The TV shows on Disney Plus the movies they've released since Infinity War, all of that is more than the first 3 phases. So there's just too much. There's too much going on right now. And then the other like 20% of why people don't like this film, I'm gonna say it's probably because there was a writer's strike. People were overworked, and that made the film really shit.
Yeah, I mean, that's the second elephant in the room, I suppose. That
Oh, whatever.
So I feel like I only ever saw advertisements for this film in theaters. I did not see any publicity for this outside of it.
Well, and they couldn't do publicity for it outside of that because of
That was part of the strike,
writers
right?
and
Had
actors
the
strikes.
actor strike.
Yeah. But it's like part of me sees like burnout of underpaid writers in part of the problems of this movie.
Oh,
like
yeah.
people aren't putting things together the same way. You look at the TV shows that are just bloated and yet they have these parts of brilliance and it's like, okay, that is a tired writer who didn't edit to me.
I would argue the latter is probably more important to me. So I don't want to be critical of like the amount of content because I really enjoy watching it all, and I'll try my best to keep up with it.
Same.
But I agree with you. Like I think there's gaps, and I don't know if it's because of the actor and writing strike or it's because Disney's greed or whatever.
It's a combination.
So I don't, I'm on one of the fans that I wish they would keep pumping out content, but they need to do a better job to like fill those gaps. And like the Scrolls are the perfect example. It's like you have this entire series where they're looking for a planet, and you turn around and they literally have a planet.
Yeah,
I'm like, there's this giant elephants in the room like that. Like, dude,
what was the point
do a
of
better
Secret
job.
War? Like, you have to bring Fury down to Earth from the space station in Secret War
to do espionage, basically.
To do nothing.
But
and then send him right back, and now goes from being this depressed, like dealing with marital problems, maybe trying to get over some of his grief of like having failed the Skrulls at some point. And then he's back up on the station, and it's like
Saber,
it's flirkin' o'clock, bitches. Let's go.
Yeah, Florkins everywhere, and people love them cats.
Right,
I mean, that's the only thing that saved the movie for me was the quantum entanglement and those fucking cats.
Yeah, but like even there, Fury is having a great frickin' time up in space. He's not depressed.
Where's his wife? Where's his
not.
wife at? I was wondering that too.
Right.
When does this film take place? Does it take place after or before?
It's after. It's after.
Really?
Yes.
Why is she not there?
I know. She's up there.
Was she? I don't remember seeing her in the
No,
film.
she
I don't
wasn't
think
in the
we
movie.
see
She
her.
went up in the freaking elevator with him.
But was she not in the film?
Yes, she was not in the film.
Yeah, I don't think she's in there.
I know.
Yeah,
that's just like.
What is the detail I missed?
Yeah, no, it's the kind of thing. I saw it in an interview, like as Secret Invasion was airing, that like, we made sure everything's set up so that Fury's in the right place for the Marvels. And I'm like, what are you talking about?
It's more than just Fury. You need the people attached to Fury, like his wife.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing is if you view this movie as more of a standalone, so if you just go in there completely forgetting about some of the things in the past, especially Secret Invasion, you're like, it was a fun film.
Yeah.
It's like kind of a fun film, but it's hard to do that. You really have to train your brain, and you shouldn't have to.
Right. You shouldn't have to jump through hoops for your movie to be enjoyable.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, Colin, you've been. I've seen you prepping.
Yes.
Go ahead.
I did enjoy the Flurkins.
Thank
I
you.
did.
All right.
I did.
We can all agree. We love the cats.
I did. But at the same time, that to me was bad writing.
I agree.
It's an easy way out.
That was an easy way out.
I disagree with you.
100% that was an easy way out.
I thought it was clever.
You
and
are
fun.
led to believe in Captain Marvel that the Flurkin just eats the person, eats the individual, and they're dead.
Yeah.
But in this film, you're like, okay, they show multiple times this cat regurgitate, couches or jewelry or whatever the fuck.
It's basically a pocket dimension.
Right. It's not eating them. It's a pocket dimension. And it's like, it's redoing its rules. So I agree with you. I think that part is like weird writing.
It's almost lazy.
If you'd had it be a
It
pocket
is
dimension.
lazy.
If you'd had it be a pocket dimension in the first place, sure, fine.
was
But
it-
it was not that in the first movie. I agree with you.
Was it not?
But
No, it just ate people.
right,
just ate
right,
people.
it just ate
but
people
at the
essentially.
end-
But the
No, no, no,
reason
no, no,
they
no, no.
did that scene, that whole collective scene, I guess, is because they didn't have enough escape pods. They had like 300 people and only 15 or so.
They Titanic themselves, yeah.
Yeah, essentially. I like that. I appreciate it. Thank you. But anyway, that was like, oh, well, how are we going to get all these important, air quote, individuals off this space station? Oh, let's just feed them
Don't
to
they show-
the flunkers. The flunkers. You know what I mean?
Oh my god!
I'm leaving that in.
That's fine.
The flunkers.
See, I would
Just-
isn't there a scene where, and I think it's the Captain Marvel film where Goose pukes up the Tesseract?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's still correct, but that only furthers the pocket dimension bit because that's how they get.
Right, but to me, him barfing up the Tesseract was, okay, it can't eat that. That's inedible. Not, it's got a pocket dimension, and whatever it eats can just stay there for however long we need it to.
Yeah, that is more akin to it's a cat. It can vomit things up.
Right, it couldn't digest the Tesseract.
It's a hair. Like, okay,
All right,
the
it has a
Tesseract
hairball.
is like an Infinity Stone hairball.
Right.
Fair enough. I just don't. Yeah, for me, it wasn't one of the critiques. I thought it was one of the more fun parts of the film.
I thought the eggs around there was really clever. Like the eggs started showing up. I'm like,
yeah,
Flurkins.
Flurkins.
I called that. I called that in the film. But the fact, like the egg, they weren't even that big. But like as soon as like the one hatched and Fury lifted it out, like from the camera angle looking down at it being hatched, it was just a small little kitten, right? But as soon as he picks it up, it's a full fucking grown cat. And I'm just like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Hey, they grow fast. We don't know.
We don't
It's
know.
some Benjamin Button bullshit. What's going on?
It's not established, so the rules don't matter until they are actually established.
Oh God, I'm getting started on that. But all right, the one thing that I will say, I'm going to be positive. So Kamala's family was pretty much, to me, I guess, like in the ways of humor, if you will, pretty much the backbone to the film.
Oh yeah.
So they're like her family, like they're just
Stereotypical almost.
Yeah, it was honestly, I enjoyed them more so than like any of the other characters for sure.
They were the
100%
better
agree.
side characters / extras.
But also at the same time, this is ridiculous and I enjoyed it. And Jake's a cat person, so he's going to love this. But the fact that Goose was on her shoulder when he was flying, or when she was flying in space. Y'all remember that?
Yeah.
And he just gets off of her shoulder and just walk around in space. Like,
Why not?
Yeah.
I mean, I get it's a flirkin', but at the same time, like...
The rules for Flurkin haven't been clearly defined other than they look like cats and they have weird tentacle things and they're basically a pocket dimension for a stomach.
I guess.
But yeah, sure, it can
There's
just
a
survive
lot
in the
there's a
vacuum
lot of
space.
rules that haven't been established and or broken.
Well, they're
travel
established in real time almost.
Time isn't real.
Okay, hang on. Time out. Speaking of rules that are established in like power levels and things like this, how did Captain Marvel not know she could restart a sun?
Yeah, that was annoying too.
She can like almost outmuscle Thanos with all the stones. How do you not think that you can go revive a sun if you have light and heat-based powers?
Okay, so I've gotten into this argument with Colin, and that particular scene where she's trying to wrestle off the gauntlet, Thanos isn't using the stones. He's just being a titan.
Okay, and that's fair, but like, still, they consistently call her the heaviest hitter in like the Avengers. Like, she is the cavalry.
Well, it's like, aside from Doctor Strange, her powers come directly from the stone of space.
I guess.
I think it was bad writing. I think they got at the end of it like, man, we really got to revive this sun. We didn't think this one through. We'll just have her.
It's just
fly
like,
right
they
But
put
it's
the
like,
atmosphere, they put the water back, but what are we going to do about the star that's not ignited?
Yeah,
I don't know.
I agree with you. That bothered me too. I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Well, it's like not that she could do it; it's that she hadn't thought she could do it. Like,
She just tried it on a whim.
well, not that, but like, come on, you can't tell me that if you care about these people and this planet and you didn't want to destroy them, or sorry, annihilate them, that like you wouldn't have talked to someone scientific to measure your power levels and say, you kind of have the power of a sun there, Carol. Like you're telling me she never talked to anyone about this problem?
Yes.
Okay,
Because,
I guess,
like,
but it just
How do you say that so like passive aggressive subtle bullshit? Yeah. No.
Well, because her entire character is that she's snappy. She's like, she knows how strong she is, but she doesn't ask people how, like,
She
what
doesn't.
her capabilities are.
But
she
she
just
doesn't.
tries it, and if it works, it works.
right, but like she clearly didn't know how strong she was, or else she would have gone and reignited their son anyways. Like that's what they were trying to talk to Darwin about at the end. It's like, look, you just let all this go. I'll fix your son for you. It's like, look, I'll make you a deal. All right, you drop off the bangle. You don't destroy Earth's son. I'll go fix your son. All right, we cool. And then Darwin's just a bad guy and like, oh my god, I'm gonna do it anyway. You know, like it. I don't know that
It's
part,
one of the problems with the films. I do agree with you.
Yeah. It's another problem to the list.
I have a question.
Go for it. I'm probably going to hate it, but go for it.
Was Atlanta, whatever the fuck that planet's called, did that planet get evaporated, as in like all the water taken from that planet and put on?
Oh, good question.
We don't know. I don't think we know.
Because
We
that
have
was
no
never
idea.
You don't
established.
see, but I'm pretty sure if the quantum bangles work the way that they should, no, that planet is basically its solid core.
Well, hang on, because it wasn't. That planet was more ocean than the Kree planet.
It was 99% water.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it's probably like smaller now. It's probably 87% water or like 50% water.
It's like,
just
oh,
more-
your
there's more
planet
land.
is reduced
Right.
to like the core and like an island like attached by like a mountain that's like the size of Hawaii, maybe.
Essentially,
knows?
right. So that's only proving my point. So they never established if that planet
No.
was, after all,
It's
destroyed.
not important. It's not brought up.
Only like 2% of the water on that planet was actually taken to Hela or whatever the fuck it's called.
Yeah. Who knows?
and-
They
and-
never went back there because they didn't want to give Carol more guilt. She has to work through at the snap of a finger. So.
And the fact that every single person on that planet sings in order to
I was gonna
communicate.
ask you all that.
song? Are you shitting me? There's
Yeah.
no like Haka battle song or like
that'd been awesome.
a chant of some kind to like synchronize their fighting.
That would have been
It's-
awesome.
I don't remember.
It's
Was
like
it
it was-
more like Little Mermaid or was it more like Moana in terms of like song?
No, it was just like everyone had to speak in a sing-song voice.
It was weird.
Oh God, it
I was
weird.
going to ask how
Like-
you guys felt about that whole planet, that whole scene. I'm like, what the hell is going on? Like, why are we running around singing
I
now?
feel like it was just
And
an
the-
excuse to put Brie Larson in a princess dress.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Yeah, I don't-
100%. 100%.
I don't
Because,
understand.
oh, he's bilingual, by the way, so we can actually just talk in
Yeah,
normal
why
voice.
did you not start with that?
And that was
So-
supposed to be like the major fight scene, too. It was like
It was one of
like
them.
these
yeah.
Kree fighter warriors versus these people that sing.
So let me ask you this
I'm going to
question:
sing
If
while
you
I
go-
stab
It
somebody.
was weird.
So if you gentlemen were to go to Disneyland and you just casually saw Carol Danvers as a Disney princess, how would you react?
Is that what their game was? Is that
Like,
what they were thinking?
like to
I don't
me,
know.
like that's the same sort of like my mind's breaking down as like going there and seeing like Princess Leia.
Yeah.
I'm like that.
Oh,
Okay,
God.
like at this point, you're making Disney princess like too fluid of a definition.
I would prefer Leia over Danvers. As long as she's wearing her bikini.
Oh, okay. All right. There we go.
Personal preference. Just saying.
Fair enough. All right. Anyway, sidetracked.
Probably just
aside.
lost a subscriber to that comment.
Well,
The other thing I was going to ask you all was I was going to ask you about the planet of singing people, but did you guys like or enjoy the cameo by Valkyrie?
Actually, I kind of did.
Yeah.
I think
I thought
that was a
good.
good moment for her to show up because she's been basically absent. Like she had such a minor role in Love and Thunder that she felt more impactful in this one.
Yes. Yes. Here's
In a
another thing.
non-Thor film.
Here's another thing. Why didn't the Kree or who was the Kree in Secret Invasion? What? Or no,
The
it was
Skrulls.
Skrulls.
Why didn't they just go to New Asgard?
Yeah.
But
Right.
But now they're all
Because New
supposed to be hunted
Asgard
too,
was
right?
like
I
Sweden
don't know.
/ Norway. right?
Okay, but it's got all the Asgardians. It's where
It's got a lot of aliens.
it's got so many aliens. Aliens are normal. Why is this a problem?
Yeah. It's weird.
Because they wanted a full planet because there's more than just... Because the lore is like, it's the
Millions.
entire race, like the surviving race. So
But
it's
it's
like
not.
millions and millions of people.
But here's the thing, like, because I've read the synopsis of like the Secret Invasion from the comics and what a huge crossover and all that stuff
Yeah.
is. Haven't read the comics myself, full disclosure, but like
I have.
comparatively,
It's a fucking novel.
why the hell would you call this Secret Invasion? Like, I don't know. It's just
Yeah, comparing the two, like one does not deserve the name.
right, but like, sorry, looping this back in, it made total sense for Valkyrie to show up here in the Marvels. Of course, spacefaring badass woman. Of course, she and
Sure.
Captain Marvel are friends. That makes
Yeah.
100% sense. I love that. And it's like, it just, I don't know.
Do you think it was just, oh, we need to throw in another girl power centric character?
No. I think it made perfect sense. Like, who else are they going to call?
I mean,
Fury's got his own problems right now.
Fury has plenty of problems. He
work.
can't seem to figure out where the hell his wife is. He's not on base.
Right, but like, and he's dealing with all the shit going down to the space station. So who else is in space right now? The Guardians? You want the whole team of the Guardians who are doing their own thing, which if this happens after Guardians 3, I don't know, but like they can't really just show up at a snap of a finger out of nowhere. So having the Bifrost bring Valkyrie and take the Skrulls away, perfect.
Makes
Like,
sense.
it's a great part of the movie.
Yeah, hell, they make use of the Bifrost again.
Yeah, but it's just like everything about this movie makes Secret Invasion worse and feels like it doesn't fit the same with the rest of the MCU movies. I feel like this was it aimed at a different audience somehow.
Yeah.
Like I came out of this movie and I'm like, I liked that movie,
But it wasn't for me.
I don't like it as much as I should.
Yeah.
I feel like this was aimed at like
A younger audience,
younger
a
or
female audience.
teenage girls. Sure, it was. If
Maybe.
it was aimed at teenage girls, that's fine.
But here's
it's
the
like,
thing: like Disney's not stupid. They understand that the majority of their viewer base are going to be, like, men our age in their like 20s and 30s that grew up with Marvel.
But like,
I think they
there's-
are stupid though. I think
They
they've
are.
lost that.
But like, so much of the MCU is just generic good action movie,
Yeah.
right?
Right, you're not wrong.
So it's like, yes, that typically skews more mid young adult male, right? Typically, but it's like that's still good enough that you can present it to any audience and be okay. From
Sure.
young to old, it doesn't matter, sex, race, anything like that.
Doesn't matter.
A typical MCU movie will be an everyone movie. This did not feel like an everyone movie.
I agree.
I left the movie and I immediately thought, man, this was a fun little movie. I don't think it was by far that had issues, but I left the movie thinking, I was like, I gotta let my sister and niece know to go watch it. Like, it wasn't really for
Right.
me as like a male MCU fan. I'm like knocking it because it wasn't,
Right,
but it's just
and,
like,
and there's
I don't
nothing
know.
wrong with it being
Yeah,
that either.
it-
It's just like it goes against their formula
Yeah.
that we've come to expect.
Yeah. It's the awkward third elephant in the room, right?
Yeah, no one really wants to say because it's like, oh,
Well,
because I
and-
kind of disagree with what you mentioned earlier, Kenny. I was like, I think the majority of Disney's MCU audience is probably males between 25 and 45, and it's just like, call a spade, man. Like, it is what it is.
Yeah. I don't know. I think that's. I don't want to call it a huge problem with the movie, but it's like everything piles together. There's just a laundry list that we've gone over of.
It's
issues.
a culmination of its problems.
I will
Yeah.
say the one thing I really enjoyed about the kind of all, lack of a better word here, all female cast, it didn't feel forced. So I know, and there's that scene in Endgame where they have like, oh, girl power. Like, to me, that kind of felt forced. But this movie, with all female cast, including the antagonist being a female, like Valkyrie showing up, like, it all kind of matched and fitted kind of well for me. So I'm like, yeah,
I
all
agree.
right.
It was a
works
very
in
natural
this film.
progression.
Right.
It
Yeah.
works a lot better than it did in Endgame.
Yeah.
Yes.
That one was
I
just kind of
agree.
like forced, like, okay.
Yeah.
This is politics seeping into this. But
Right.
this
and-
one's
and
like,
this
it
felt
didn't
very
feel that way at
natural.
all.
It felt,
Yeah, it felt natural.
exactly like it should have been. These are the characters that should have teamed up.
Yeah.
These are the characters that should have worked together
yeah.
and dealt with this problem.
All the
But-
characters that inherently have the name Marvel somewhere in their title. We've gone over this in a previous
Yeah.
episode where, like, for a non-comic book person, thinking that there's a Captain Marvel, then there's a Miss Marvel, which later in the comics becomes Captain Marvel, and then there is a Miss Marvel that just stays Miss Marvel. Like, there's too many people with the name Marvel in their title.
And I love that they messed with that in the movie when Kamala and Rambo are trying to figure out what Rambo's superhero name should be. I love that part.
Yeah.
That was great.
That is a fun little nod at the comics, being like, yeah, no, we kind of fucked up with the naming convention here,
Yeah.
but we're going to go with it and make it a running joke.
Right.
Yeah.
And they have these little sections that are just like the perfect make you grin kind of moments.
Like, if you
But
know,
it's-
you know.
Right. But it's like, it doesn't come together well. What am I saying? I'm losing the beat here.
Words are hard.
They are.
English is hard.
And then Kate Bishop comes in at the end.
Yes. Let's talk about the end. Yeah.
The end.
What'd you think, Colin, about the mid or post credit, whatever it was?
I fucking hated the Hawkeye series. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It sucked. It was terrible.
That's weird. Aren't you a big Jeremy Renner fan?
What?
There's silence there was palpable.
I thought you were a Jeremy Renner fan, man.
I mean, I like the character, but I'm not like, oh my god, I can't wait to see Jeremy Renner in this next Hawkeye film, or Hawkeye is the best character. No, I'm not like that. I like all the characters as a whole, but obviously, like, prefer one character over the other for sure. But with the Hawkeye series, I was just like,
Yeah.
just what's the actress's name that plays her?
Haley Steinfeld.
That's it. Yeah, it was like every time I see her, I'm just like, all right, dude, just go back to Pitch Perfect. Honestly, go sing a song or something. You know, like,
Really, I was gonna say go back to being Gwen Stacy.
Yeah, she was Gwen
well,
Stacy.
okay.
Yeah, in the Spider-Verse movies.
yeah, no,
Yeah.
I understand.
fantastic.
That's arguably more important.
Yeah.
and
And
the
Pitch
timeline.
Perfect is less important, which is what I was getting at. But
Yeah.
anyway, like I mean, yeah, she was entertaining in the series, but like just the series as a whole, for me, I don't know. But like obviously, I'm kind of getting this vibe, and I'm in one hand looking forward to it, and the other hand not. But like I'm getting this like you know, when you went to the latest Star Wars film and they had that kid like do the use the Force to pick up a broom or whatever. Do y'all remember that
yeah.
scene?
Yeah.
Yes.
So like they're trying to create this new generation of Jedi. Well, that's essentially what they're trying to do with this, is create this new generation of superheroes.
Well,
which
and
is
it's-
fine. I get that. I
It's
support
Young
that.
Avengers. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm all for that, but at the same time, I wish they had some better cast.
Yeah.
For
Well,
that.
I mean, other than that, like the only other person who's been rumored to be on Young Avengers is Ant-Man's daughter.
Yes.
Do you really want them to show up with her?
Like we've gone, like Zach and I have talked about this. Like Ant-Man is a sidekick superhero that was given his own personal movie.
Yeah.
Oh my God! How have I not brought this up yet? We were talking about this earlier. Pedro Pascal is now going to be Reed Richards.
Oh, I've seen that rumor. Yeah.
I think they should have gone with what's his face that was in WandaVerse, or no, Multiverse of Madness.
Oh, you mean Jim?
Jim. Yes.
I don't know his actual name.
Jim. Oh, okay, from The Office.
Yeah,
Okay.
Jim from The Office, yeah.
Gotcha. Shit, what is his name? I forgot.
Yeah, I know.
It's like
killing me.
it's him and his wife that's in everything because
So
they
Emily
always
Blunt
cast them together.
and shit. I'm gonna think of it.
You know what? Editing magic here. All right. So that person is the person we're talking about. Anyways, I was expecting him to come back because he got done so dirty by Darkhold empowered Wanda so bad. Like I agree
John
with
Krasinski.
Thank you.
Oh man! Wow.
Yeah.
Good luck editing that in, buddy.
No, we leave that in, man. I'm leaving that in. That's
Yeah.
fine. But yes, him and I thought that he did a perfectly good job as that character. Granted, he only had maybe 2 minutes of actual dialogue before he got turned into a bunch of spaghetti. But
Yeah, I don't know.
he felt like the correct character. He had the same sort of
He had the
build.
look.
He had
Yeah,
the
he had the
look
look.
for it.
Yeah. I'm waiting to see what they do with Fantastic Four before I draw judgments, because it's
I'm already drawing judgment.
when it comes to
Well,
like
you have to. I mean,
The last one did so poorly, so how can you not?
Poorly is
An understatement.
wait,
An understatement.
we're going back to Rise of Silver Surfer for last
No.
Fantastic
Oh my
One
Four?
God!
after
Can we
that.
can we get into that? Oh, that's
The-
it.
the-
That has-
the reboot of the reboot.
Fantastic, the one I skipped, right?
Yeah, the
Yeah.
reboot of the reboot where
Okay,
the
but hang
Dirty
on.
Laundry came out.
But hang on, that's the one where they literally did it just so the rights wouldn't revert back to Disney in the middle of the MCU.
Yes.
Yes.
Correct.
Okay, so the Spite movie that was
The
purposely
Spike movie where
purposely
all
terrible.
of the actors hated each other.
This
Yes.
has to be its own episode. I'm saying
Okay,
Maybe.
but
I don't want to
look,
watch that film again. Please don't make me.
But look, I
have to. This is our job, Kenny.
But look, when it comes to MCU stuff, somebody got cast great. Good for them. I hope they do a good job. If they don't do a good job in the movie, then I'll say that after the movie. But like, I don't know. I'm trying very hard to not let my hype for Pedro Pascal outweigh my burnout with Marvel.
Fair enough. Yeah, I guess that then I'm going to get into a different rabbit hole here, but it's like, is there a Star Wars Burnout that is the same as Marvel?
If you all haven't done an Ahsoka episode, I'll stay here and we'll record an Ahsoka.
We've already done that,
but
unfortunately.
we can that can be like a rabbit hole episode in its own.
Sure.
But with
We'll
Pedro, since we're talking about Pedro Pascal, so he is kind of getting burnt out on the whole Mandalorian thing, and so that's why he's yeah. And so what's her face that plays Bo-Katan? She wants to get the ball rolling on the new season. But he's kind of just like, yeah.
Well,
so that's why he's wanting to go over and
do all sorts of other stuff. Okay, that's fine.
We'll go into that deeper into our rabbit hole episode, which will now definitely be a thing.
Yeah, you get all your fan mail and all the comments calling you wrong, and then we just rabbit hole off things. That'd be great.
Yeah, I'm actually all for that. That's fantastic.
I can create a reel and just get everybody riled up about something. Let's do a hot take. Say,
fair enough.
Spider-Man is better than Green Goblin.
I mean,
or Green Goblin's better than.
It's like the other way around would work better.
Power Rangers. I don't know.
Whoa. Okay. All right. Now
See, exactly.
I'm baited just like that. It's that easy.
Nah. Okay. This is the wrong episode to plug it in, but we're definitely bringing you back for like a kaiju episode. Like, what's your favorite giant monster?
Sure.
Or like, even better, your favorite mech.
Oh God.
Including all mech. Because I know your biases.
Look, you will lose your audience if you get me talking mechs.
I know maybe your biases. We'll gain some subscribers.
Maybe.
I'm trying to be optimistic, and I'm the more pessimist of the four of us here.
Anyways, okay, back to Marvels. Gentlemen, where do we want to wrap this movie up? I think it is exactly where the critics have rated it. It is definitely a 6. It's like definitely a 7. This is like a mid film. It's not bad, but it's not great. It's almost horrible.
Yeah,
it goes back and forth, and it's on a knife's edge.
It's not the Eternals. It's not Thor: The Dark World. It's a fine movie, but
it ain't Morbius. It ain't the the Eternals.
Oh God, have you guys done a Morbius episode?
Hey, you want to do one?
No.
No. That is exactly why we should do one.
Oh God, don't make me watch that one again.
Yeah, I would say
you actually watched it.
I did.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Not in theaters, no. I was not a part of the group that
bring it back.
that bullied the studios to bring it back just to have it fail again.
We're off topic again. Marvels.
Anyways, Marvels.
I'm going to end my piece with the Marvels. I would rank it as 7 out of 10. I think it was a fun watch. There were scenes, as I mentioned before, like the quantum kind of entanglement was a lot of fun for me. The Kamala Khan's family, watching them interact with everybody was fun. I thought Nick Fury's character was cool and fun to watch. I absolutely love the Flurkins, the cats. I know I disagree with you guys. I know it was kind of lazy writing, but it was just fun and enjoyable to watch. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Now, there's problems. There's big gaps. You got to recognize that. And I'll end it with saying I wasn't that thrilled with the post-credit scenes. I tend to agree with you, Colin. Like, I'm not excited for the Young Avengers. And it was
not
cool
excited for the X-Men either.
It was cool to see Hank McCoy. I'm a little worried that they're going to overdo it. Like, I was excited to see Wolverine's going to be in Deadpool. Like, I'm excited for small pieces, but, like, I don't know. I was hoping for...
Your faith has been diminished.
Yeah. So I was hoping for a little bit more from the post-credit scene. Like, I don't know. I want to see fucking Peter Quill show back up or something. I don't know. But that's my 2 cents.
Colin, where do you stand?
I mean, overall, yes, it's an entertaining story and fun for family, and there's a lot of action, cool special effects and whatnot.
I see you reading off your phone. Did you script this so you wouldn't sound so mad at the movie?
Maybe.
Colin, exposed, live.
Listen, I'm trying to be positive about things.
You're valid. You're valid.
Yeah.
I wanna hear
but
the negative.
The one thing, well, obviously not the one thing. There's been multiple things, but one thing that I wanted to add that we haven't talked about is the score for the film. For me, I've said this in multiple episodes, and I'm going to say it again. The score for me, if that hits and is on point throughout the film, especially in the beginning for me, I'm going to be engaged in the film. But with this particular film, it just didn't do it for me. So if I'm going to rate it, I'd probably get like a 6.8.
Yeah.
Yeah. You didn't like the Beastie Boys song? Huh?
I want original scores. I want, the Hans Zimmers. I want the John Williams. That's what I want. Now, obviously, we're not going to get that in a lot of the Marvel films, especially with Guardians of the Galaxy. They have the typical,
They've established their own formula.
Right. And I enjoy that. Obviously, there's a bunch of songs like Fleetwood Mac and a bunch of other stuff in the Guardian films that I enjoy. But I, overall, score-wise, am a original score type of guy.
Yeah.
If you can come up with a great score, you have my attention. If the plot is good, then that is just going to give you more props from me.
More points.
More points, exactly. So that's all I've got to say about it.
Zach.
It's a 7, and you can skip it. It just doesn't leave that much of an impact. Like, if it turns out that the Bengals are like the key to defeating Kang or something, then yeah, okay, it becomes essential watching. But like, it's
God, I
good.
hope not.
I hope not too.
The 10 rings are actually the reason or the way to kill
I
Thanos.
want Shang-Chi back, please.
Yeah, that movie came out, 20 years ago?
We need to do an episode on
Yeah,
that.
that's a perfect example. Like Shang-Chi would have been a perfect post-credit tease.
Yes.
It's like, what the fuck are we doing?
Like, it's
No,
like
no.
the other ring-like object
Yeah.
compared to the Bengals. Like, what's the other ring thing?
We're
that's-
writing it for you, Marvel. Just
I know
tune in.
that would have been perfect, Zach. That would have been perfect.
Yeah, but like, as it is, I don't think that it's. I think that it's good to watch all the parts that lead up to it, except for Secret Invasion. And I think you can just kind of say, yep, they teamed up. It was a good time. And they solved some problems. And nothing changed.
Yeah.
And you just go on. I don't think you need to watch this one, sadly.
I think I'm in the same ballpark as you, is that this is definitely a mid film. But it's mid to like lower mid, where you don't need to watch it to like understand like what had happened with it.
It's not.
Because the next film that comes out will probably like rehash like what had happened here, like most of like the team, like the year big like Avengers, like the entire gang's together.
Sure.
Because they kind of like wrap up whatever goes on in their movies.
I'll push back against it being lower mid against that, because it's like lower mid is something that, like, if it's on TV and I'm just flipping through channels, then I'll keep flipping. I think I'd stop and watch this again. So
Okay, that's fair.
but it's not like, oh my God, go see it in theaters, which I think it's out of theaters already, but I don't know.
I don't believe it is, because because that particular question I was looking at earlier today and I could not find it.
Oh, okay.
So-
Well, yeah.
Maybe at the end of the month, at the beginning of the year, we'll probably switch over to like Disney Plus or whatever. But
Yeah, watch it there.
I definitely think that this film was probably better watched in the theater just because of the general like theatrics of it. But like the writing and the plot are not to be desired necessarily.
Yeah,
So it's
mid.
a mid. Like, if you can't decide, flip a coin. I don't think you'll you might be disappointed, you might not be. I'm in the camp of indifference because I don't know how to feel about it because I did not watch the prerequisite stuff
Well, I think
to
you should
be
I think-
attached to these characters
There's no-
prior.
I think that, like, Miss Marvel, definitely worth watching. It's sort of where the problems with like pacing are evident in the Disney Plus shows.
Sure.
But like, there's so much good in there, and Kamala Khan is such an enjoyable character. I think it's worth watching.
Okay. I might have to give that a watch.
Or so her family.
Yeah, her family is great. Like the dynamic between her and her family, like they actually talk about things eventually. Once she finally like says, "Hey guys, I have superpowers," and they find out about it, then they actually like talk about things. But they are like the healthiest family dynamic I've seen in TV or movies or MCU in years. Like
I think right now they're the only family in the MCU because none of them have like attached to family anymore.
I guess, but like they're a healthy and fun family dynamic, and that's on display in the Marvels. But go watch Miss Marvel instead if you're looking for that. So.
Sure. Okay. Well, I want to thank everybody for listening to the Derby City Fandom podcast. Zachary, it's always a pleasure to have you on.
Always a pleasure to be here.
Yeah. So, this coming new year, I have a special treat for you. Cue sound bit, I'm going to call it here. But I want to do an episode on Pacific Rim.
Oh.
Let's get some giant robots in here. We've talked about the monsters. Let's get the robots back.
It's a shame there's not a sequel.
Yes, but prior to that, we do have a Christmas episode, and we have another special guest that you all haven't heard of. From yet, I should say.
Let's leave that for...
We're going to leave that a mystery.
Special surprise.
Special surprise. Exactly. Now, Zach, if the people want to find more of you, where can they find you?
I am on a D&D podcast, The Alchemist Club. We're at the Alchemist_Club on Twitter, at the Alchemist Club on TikTok, and wherever you want to find us on podcasts. We're pretty much everywhere. So listen to our recap episodes and then catch up with us from there, because there's a lot. We've been doing this for years. So I think we're about to hit 5 years, maybe.
Hey, we just had our 1 year anniversary.
Well, congrats.
Hell yeah. We're catching up, damn it.
Well, you're not catching up until we stop.
Yes. Every weekend you don't post, we catch up.
I think that's been a while since we haven't posted, actually.
Anyways, thank you, everybody, for listening to the Derby City Fandom podcast. Like, subscribe, download our podcast wherever you can find your podcast from. Colin, am I missing anything?
Derby City Fandom.
Fair enough. Everybody's muted. You're good. Zach, it's always a pleasure. I enjoyed these.
I love talking to you guys about this stuff. I love just talking about this stuff.
You guys are a bunch of fucking nerds.